Okay, here we are. Another episode of Bar Talks. Unchilled personalities, unchanged mental health problems.
I started in kitchens because I did not want to study. I was rebellious as fuck.
Show us those guns. She's. Whoa.
Now I'm actually quite well behaved.
She's walked away from titles, she's walked into new countries, but she's never walked away from her values. She's been quietly shaping global cocktail culture from rum-soaked nights with Havana Club to her new thoughtful life in Mexico. Here we are with Audrey Hands. Here you are. Hi.
Hello.
Today on Bar Talks, what happens when a brand builder sits down, puts down the mic, but picks up the mirror and says, I'm not done yet. This is our first time really interacting, to be honest, in a real way. But weirdly enough, considering both of our careers, there's been a lot of dancing around, tangoing. Whilst you have been constantly present and I was more interacting with your other half, mainly due to life, I would love for you to give us a breakdown of kind of a too long didn't read summary of who are you, where are you, what's going on?
Who am I? Audrey Hands.
Sure, as we know.
I am half French, half English. I grew up in London. I was not good at school. I was not a good academic at all. And I think that my story is not unique, but like many of us who ended up here, I started in kitchens because I did not want to study. I was rebellious as fuck. I was very different to now. Now I'm actually quite well behaved.
This is the calm new Audrey.
This is the calm new Audrey. But yeah, no, I used to be, the teacher's nightmare.
What was your least favorite subject?
Believe it or not, chemistry.
Same. Fucking hate that shit.
And we work in this shit. How?
What was your favorite subject?
Arts. Art and languages. I grew up speaking French, English, and Spanish. Started in kitchens. I wanted to be a chef. I was obsessed with cordon bleu. I love cooking. I love eating. Yeah, so I wanted to cook. I did not want to study. And I was in a restaurant, a very young age, very legal age to work. And I was peeling potatoes and I was the kitchen help. And it was a very stressful kitchen with one of those chefs who was Spanish. And he would shout and swear a lot in Spanish from Spain. You know, like, joder, cojones, que no sé qué, blah, blah. And as rebellious as I was shit scared of him. And then meantime, because I had the little pass where they would give me all the dirty plates, I had a direct view to the beautiful young bartender who was 20 years old and sexy and gorgeous, and he played loads of football, so he was ripped as well.
You're ripped now. Come on, you wanted to do it. Show us those guns. She's. Whoa.
But beyond all of that little crush that I had on him, he was really smooth and he was talking to the customers because it was a tapas bar as well, so he would be serving classic cocktails, wine and all that. And he was talking to the head chef, the owner, like an equal. Whereas for me, if I wanted to speak to the head chef, I'd have to have something really good to tell him. And I was like, with my pile of dirty plates, I was like, what am I doing? I'm
in the wrong part of this establishment.
I did not want to climb this really long ladder. I did continue for a few months, just convincing myself that the kitchen was a bit too stressful. And then I went on when I was 15, 16, to become a hostess, a waitress. And then I started working in a gastropub with IPA.
A thing. Ooh.
And Guinness, the art of waiting the service of Guinness. Then I just kind of went behind the bar in that gastropub.
How old were you?
When I started in the gastropub, I was 17. So for the first couple of years, I was in that restaurant. And then I moved to the gastropub in Sloane Square.
I also started at roughly the same age. And I always thought to myself now, I can't imagine if I was, say, a bar owner, that a 15-year-old would come to me and I'd be like, cool, here's a job. In 2025. Does that make sense? I would be like, come back when you're 18.
In Mexico, it's very normal.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So when we grew up, especially in England, it was very much about having a part-time job, whether it was an H&M or picking up plates, whatever. But it was really important for us to have those part-time jobs, and it's very normal. In Mexico, it's interesting because they don't really have that culture of working quite young to have your pocket money, basically, more than anything.
I wanted freedom. I wanted to be able to...
Independence.
Well, yeah, because if I asked my dad, I want to go to Camden, they'd be like, you're not going to Camden. But if I have my money, I just go get a £1 travel card back then for under 16s. And you go to Camden and nobody can say anything. You can't tell me what to do, it's my money.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe times are changing and the younger generations are definitely working less than we used to work as well.
I think they do. Maybe I'm projecting, but I mean, like, I'm talking about my own behavior.
I'm not against it. I think that, I don't think that anyone should start working at 14, 15 years old. That's
what I mean. Like,
silly of us, really.
I did it, but I almost don't want them to do it.
Yeah. And I remember because my mom used to tell me this all the time. And it wasn't just about working, it was also about clubbing, because I used to go clubbing from a very young age. And my mom would be like, why do you want to go clubbing? You know, when you're going to be 25, you're going to be like, I've been clubbing for 10 years. And yet now I've been clubbing for 20 years and I still love it. So, Mum, you did not know.
What started off as proving her mum wrong has ended up with a career in the hospitality industry. But you've had such a journey, and I would say you're a true Londoner. Like, because in London, everyone's a foreigner.
Yes.
Like, so many people in hospitality are foreigners. So they've already...
Italians and the rest.
Italians, used to be Slovaks, a lot of Slovaks and Czechs at one point. But everyone's already got their initial stripes and some experience somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then they come to London where they springboard or get better and whatever. Whilst you are like...
I'm the opposite.
You're like Batman's antithesis. You're like Bane. You only came to London. I was born in it, molded by it. You know what I mean? Like, I can't even imagine what that was like. You mentioned like, okay,
my mentors.
Who are them? Who were you for you? Your mentors, your London mentors.
Now that I look back and I speak of them, and I see like the eyes of the people when I say them, when I mention them, you know, like from Ian Burrell, Dick Bratzel, Henry Besant, Nick Strangeway. All of these people, they were around me and they took me under their arm. Camille Vidal. I was so well surrounded, and I was so lucky because very much of my early career was very much about being at the right time in the right place. I'm not a mixology genius. You know, I'm not like Ian McPherson. I think that, you know, some people are true geniuses with flavor and everything. I think that I'm pretty good in hospitality and creativity, but I was always in hospitality because I love living the moment. I love interacting with people. And so I was very, very lucky because when I started at a very young age, at 19 years old, I was in Floridita on the Richwoods, one of the other ones, that I was petrified of. And I remember really well, like, for example, the first time I met Ian Burrell, he was Ian Burrell. He was being himself. And he was just being, and as he came down the stairs, you remember the really iconic stairs, one of the other bartenders, Havel something, he was like, oh, mate, be good, be on your top form because the ambassador of rum is coming in. I was like, the ambassador of what? So I was obviously very nervous. I had been in that bar for, I think, maybe a couple of months at the time. He was just really cheeky. He asked for a daiquiri, and then he went, oh, you've got something like that, and he just flicked my nose. And I was like, well, what do I do now?
How do I react to this?
Yeah, I was like,
is he flirting, or is he just fucking around with me? Like, what's going on?
And he was just being himself. And then over the years, and every time I see him, you know, I never forget that first interaction I had with him, where I think being a bartender in London was very much, I don't know if it's just London, I think it is a little bit of a world thing, but it was very much about how cool can you be and how do you know to say exactly the perfect thing at the perfect moment. You're constantly judged because also we're Londoners, we're English. So banter is really important. And then if you're not cool, then it's like everyone's looking at you and just like judgy a little bit. To be honest, it was something that I think I hope so, taught quite early on, where I was like, okay, I need to be cool all the time, and I know that people are constantly kind of looking at me. Also, growing up as a bit of an introvert, it was something that I would constantly be studying and looking at the others and be like, okay, so if they do it like that, then maybe I don't want to be like that. You know?
Yeah, fair enough.
Starting in London was really interesting because it's like the military of bartending.
It's definitely an academy, I'll tell you that.
Yeah. You work really fucking hard and you party really hard as well. But there are expectations. Like I remember when I did start in Floridita, the head bartender at the time, he was like, are you sure you want to work here? And I was like, why? And he was like, you're going to work so many hours. You're going to bleed. You're going to sweat. You're going to cry. And I was like, yeah, I love it.
Do you think that there's now so much more focus on the drink? Like people, I think at that time the drinks had to be good, but they were people, you came for people more. Like you came to bars to see people more so than the drinks. The drinks had to be good. It's almost like it was an unspoken rule. The drinks had to be good, whatever good means at that time.
Do you know what's interesting? If, for example, we lived like the change of cartoned juice to fresh.
Sun Pride, Sun Kissed.
Yeah.
Fucking garbage.
And you know, you said the drinks had to be good. There's a little something, you know, when we talk about, oh, our generation is the best generation of all because we survived so much change and adaptation. That particular moment in hospitality or in cocktail world was so pivotal for us. And now, you know, like I see so many of these young bartenders that have incredible instruments and technology and, you know, they have a rotovat, but do they actually know how to make a Negroni? Do they know where the Negroni was invented? Do they know the foundations of classic cocktails? Like we had to study for hours and hours and hours. We did not have ChatGPT. We did not have Siri.
Fuck, yeah, it's true actually. And I use that shit all the time nowadays.
To go back to what you were saying, what I find very interesting is drinks had to be good. But drinks are at a much higher level now when you think about it, and maybe a little bit too complex for my palate sometimes. When people ask me like, what's your favorite bar? You know, and I live in Mexico City, there are so many incredible bars here. What do I look for? I look for a place where I feel safe. Music is good. It might not be the best temperature and the best dilution, but I think that to make a bar one of the best bars, it's obviously a 360. Maybe you make the best cocktail in the world, but maybe you're just not really good at hospitality. Or maybe you don't make the best drink, but you are the best in hospitality. And the experience that you're gonna live is unforgettable either way.
What do you look for in someone who you think is best at hospitality or good at hospitality? Is there any key points or factors or green flags?
So something that I always say, so originally, is my job or our job is to make sure that anyone who comes in, walks in your building, has to walk out with a bigger smile on their face. Simple. And if they walk in with a big smile, then
you're in for a tough night.
Exactly.
You're going to be struggling.
All we're doing is we're trying, because at the end of the day, people go to bars for many reasons. One of the key ones is escapism. You want to escape your stressful day, maybe the breakup, maybe a little bit of the debt, maybe the fact that, you know, also you have a great time, but you're going to celebrate. And that celebration is a type of escapism as well, because you need to separate from that, you know, good thing that you're celebrating. You got promotion at work, okay, but you're going to go away from your work to celebrate that, right? A bar is an experience. The moment you walk in, I need to connect with you somehow. And I need to make sure that, for me, I don't want you to forget me, because I want you to say, yeah, I went to that bar yesterday, and you know, that girl with the short hair, the big earrings, she was just like really sweet, and you know, and she did something. Or that guy, you know, like he had the best jokes. So that guy, he just knew exactly at what point to change my drink. Or, you know, it's those things, those little details.
Would you say this kind of attitude is how you ended up becoming like a global brand ambassador? Are these skills more transferable into that kind of role than?
Many skills, because I have huge stage fright. So definitely, that did not help me.
How did you get that job?
I speak 3 languages. No, I'm joking. No, I was in Australia. I was bartending in Sydney. Do you remember Jennifer Cox?
Yes.
I was working there, and then so Jennifer, she was like, send me your CV, and she didn't tell me why. When I was bartending in Australia, I was only allowed to work 4 days a week. Life in Australia was amazing at the time. I was only allowed to work 4 days a week. I had an amazing salary, but you also get a little bit money hungry when you live over there, I think. Oh, maybe that happened to me. And I was like, yes, event work for Pernod. Yes, please, awesome. And then next thing I knew, it was the brand manager called me, and she was like, hello, I'm hiring for the white spirits brand ambassador role. When can you come in for an interview? And so I went through the whole interviewing process. Maybe it did help that I am half French, half English, and I speak Spanish fluently. I had been a rum bartender for a very long time, and I had specialized a lot in rum and my love for agaves as well. And it's funny because the only presentation I had to do was in front of 3 people. So obviously your little nerves from an interview are kind of forgiven. But what she didn't do was put me in front of a room of 30 or 50 people. So the first time I did a masterclass, fell flat on my face.
What was some of the hardest things about transitioning into a BA role?
Being diplomatic. I'm not known to be very diplomatic.
You couldn't tell by this trip, but...
I'm a little bit too transparent. And I'm very honest, and I'm too emotional and driven and passionate. And I'm like, if this is the goal, everyone has to be on the same goal and we all have to fight for this together. And I find it very difficult to understand that people are not on the same wavelength as me. So when I'll be working an event, or I'll tell everyone, we need to go try the new cocktail in Audrey with Havana Club. And the brand manager just did not care because she's a marketing person. And then I did not understand that. And I would just be like, why do you not care about my job? I got a cocktail in the best bar, you know.
Do you not care about me? Do you not care about what I do?
So it goes into recognition as well. I didn't find it difficult in many ways. I think that I like the corporate life. I love having order. I love it when people tell me this is, you know, your deadline, do this or that. If you don't do it, you don't get your bonus. I actually really like having structure. And I actually think it's something that we lack a lot in hospitality. And it's something that we could use a lot more of. We were talking the other day, you know, like a bartender can do a contract or start a new project with someone who's an entrepreneur or businessman, and they'll read the contract, but they don't know how to read between the lines. I think that working for nearly 10 years for Pernod, I loved having that side, and I loved, because very quickly, actually, one of my first really close friends in Pernod, she's one of the finance directors now, and she was my age, and we were both, and she was a bit like crazy. She is crazy woman, and she was amazing with Excel. And she was like, you're the new brand ambassador. She's French. And she was like, can you take me out? And I was like, what do you do? She's like, I'm in finance. And I was like, so you know Excel. We can work together.
So you know how about money, right?
So she taught me a lot about Excel, and also so when we would receive like some reports and everything, and at the beginning I didn't know how to read them. So I would ask her to, you know, teach me.
That's great. That's awesome.
And it was the same with IT guys. And then I started this whole like thing where once a month I would take up to 10 people from the whole company. IT, HR, marketing, finance, whatever. I would say sign up. And the first 10 people, I will take you to 3 cocktail bars. Because they would tell me, oh my God, you go to Eau de Vie? Or like, still no, you know, they'd be like, oh my God, do you know Handshake? I'm like, of course I know Handshake.
That's amazing. Because like, I'd never heard of a brand ambassador do that. Normally, when you speak to brand ambassadors and they're forced to hang out with people in the office, they are always like, they're just upset, right? But to hear that a BA was not only interacting with internally within the company, but then helping the people who work in a spirits company to also be closer to the bar industry is fantastic. You know, I think I can't believe I haven't thought, like no one's thought of that. I can't believe I've heard of that before, because it only makes everything better.
I think that what did help was when I started working, they were like 70% of your education is external, 30% of your education is internal. So I had to give a tasting internally every couple of months for all of the new people coming. And the first time I did it in Pernod, I just had the most random table of people, like IT people. And I was like, why is the IT guy coming to my Havana Club training? It is really important because when you think about it, in your business, how many people do you have approximately?
4 or 5.
Very big business.
Massive.
So let's look at this building. This building is comprised actually of 3 businesses. We have the restaurant downstairs, Fonico. We have the event space, which is where we are now. And then we have the cocktail bar upstairs. What you see in front of house is probably about 30 people. What you don't see is all the 50 people behind. Maybe the IT guy who gave us some of his stuff today, or the tech guy, or the maintenance guy, maybe it would be really kind to actually include him in some of the things that we're doing. He's not part of this world, but then he'll tell someone, you know, he'll be like, sure, in my job today, I'm the tech guy, but in my job today, I had the tasting of the new menu, and then that's gonna go on. We don't only have one brand ambassador, but everyone is a brand ambassador for your company. So in your company, you know that your 5 people are also the voices, and they will pass it on to their families and friends, and they will then do that.
So you started as an Australian BA?
I started for the first year as an Australian BA. I was very lucky because someone who was working there, so when I started, my brand manager, she was like the worst and the best thing that happened to me, I think, because she didn't really share me a lot of internal information. Maybe she saw something in me and she asked me, she told me, you have 3 months to create 5 educational experiences around the rum. You give me a challenge and I accept it. It was the same. It was very similar as to when I started with Floridita. Rich Woods told me you have 3 months to learn everything there is to know about all of these 500 bottles behind the bar. And I was like, I think I was more scared then.
Well, it's funny because like you rise to the challenge, right?
Oh, completely. The brand ambassador life has completely changed, as even to what we were expected. I mean, when I was a brand ambassador, alongside with me, the amount of responsibility that we had, and we had to report, not directly, but we had to give information monthly to our CEO. So we would speak to our CEO on a monthly basis, being a brand ambassador, which on paper is a bit more of a junior role. Not a carte blanche, but nearly a carte blanche on creativity and advocacy, because we were the experts on the field. And remember, this was when we were working under Nick Blacknell. Do you know Nick Blacknell?
Yes.
He's a marketing genius and he's a great hospitality figure, also a bit scary sometimes.
They all are. Anyone who's on that, they have to be.
He knew very, very well. He was our marketing director, and he knew extremely well that we were the experts on the field. So he'd be like, we need to work on a new advocacy platform. Maybe and Audrey, go do the work, go do the research, work with the right people, the right agency, then present to us.
What's one of the biggest projects you're proud of as working as a global BA?
One of the first things that I did as a global brand ambassador was join the team when we were redoing the bottle. You remember the Havana Club 7 bottle used to be like the Eiffel Tower?
Yes, it was a bit long. Yeah, it was a bit more. Yeah, now it was squarer.
And now it's rounded and it's actually more for bartending and it's more colorful with so I helped on that.
Nice.
Which I see the bottle every day and I'm like,
no, that's cool. To be a part of something like that is very special.
But I think that also something that two things that I think I'm really, really proud of is what we managed to do for bartenders, because Havana Club is a truly like bartender rum in the sense that we always had bartenders on the front line for us. And it was like, what's next for bartenders? So, when we were studying about the psychology behind drinking, behind the experience, which is also, I think, why I love hospitality so much, the kind of psychology behind the marketing and the customer experience, which is really what excites me a lot. And then when we went into the entrepreneur competition, working with incredible people like Kelsey Ramage, Karina Soto, and I remember like being next to them and being able to work with them. We did also the professional editions of Havana Club, where I was the middleman between them. It was hilarious because, kind of talking with the maestros and the bartenders. Bartenders were like, oh yes, I want this type of rum. And then the maestros were like, no es ron cubano.
Yeah, because it's a particular style.
Something that I take really close to my heart with me is for so many years being able to represent not just a liquid, because it's not just the liquid inside a bottle. If not, it's everything behind it, all the work that goes behind it, all the culture behind it, embracing the everything. And every time that I think back of Cuba, I'm not Cuban at all. It is a culture that I adopted in many, many ways. And I love dancing salsa. Whenever people still ask me a lot about the island, and I'm still close to it. And also something that I learned very clearly, thanks to Cubans, is the only thing you need sometimes is to be in the right company. A bit of rum helps.
It helps bind everybody together.
But you really do not need anything to have a good time.
If I'm a young bartender right now and I'm listening to all this, I'm getting so inspired, what would be some tips you would give?
So many tips. One is obviously don't take yourself so seriously. I think that's the most important one. I think it's enjoy the ride. Whether it's personal, professional, it's a roller coaster. We're always going to go through ups and downs. We're going to have moments where we spoke about having burnouts. We've both been through burnouts. They're horrible, but they're part of life. There are little scars, as well as the wins. They're all things that add on to who you then become. Don't take it too seriously, because that is my biggest problem. I take things a little bit too seriously and I'm very hard on myself. So don't do it, because we're just serving drinks. Also, another thing is you never ever know. This is a great one.
Here we go. Oh yeah.
You never know who's sitting in front of you. And sometimes you don't know how you'll be so pleasantly surprised by the human being who's right in front of you. The amount of times when I used to work in the 5-star hotel in London, which was to me one of the most challenging jobs, not because it was so difficult, if not, it was not exciting to me. It was bureaucratic, it was a hotel, it was boring to me because I wasn't, enough.
Please keep that in. That's gonna be part of the trailer.
I am a bit expressive, aren't
Oh,
I?
I love it. It's better than most
Can
of
you
my
do this?
guests. I can move my ears.
Ooh, can you do this?
That.
And then there's the.
Can you move your nostrils? Without moving your
I think I'm going over it.
without moving your entire face.
And I can dance with my eyes. I do love things like that.
And that is also going into the trailer.
Some of the interactions that I had in that hotel with people, most of the time, obviously, they were millionaires and they were incredible businessmen who were traveling around the world. And they were talking to me like an equal, which I always felt very, very respectful and very humbling. And they gave me some incredible advice. And, if I had known then how to be a better business and PR woman, I would have probably been able to have had a business partner by now. But they gave me great advice, and that's what it is. You never know who the human being in front of you is. As you said the other day, you have 2 ears. No.
Please don't poke your own eyes out. That'll be it. 2 ears, 2 eyes,
One mouth.
1 mouth.
Can you just do that?
Botox is not filtered.
Oh, gosh.
I'm telling you, I'm the opposite of your corporate shit. This is
Yeah,
as real as you
I'm
get.
a little bit too square sometimes.
You're not square. No. It's just I'm
curvy.
See, there you go. There she is. You just need to shake you up a bit now and again.
Well, it's because we haven't had rum yet.
And that is an opportunity to have with the brand ambassador who finally walked in the back to have some rum.
On Mexican time, he arrived an hour and a half late to our interview. Bienvenido. Salud.
Salud. How did you navigate the move here? Why Mexico? Why here? What's happening here? Why is this such a special place that everyone seems to want to move here right now?
So I have family who lives here, and I've been coming to Mexico since I was a teenager. I've always loved this country. I was in a very long relationship with a Mexican, a beautiful man, and then we grew apart. I remember the first time I came to Mexico, there was something that I did not understand. And I asked my mom about it. I was like, why are Mexicans just content? They're just simply content. Things that we do not have in Europe. What I really admire about Latin America, mostly because I think I'm really close to them, I also love the music, I love the food. But I honestly feel like the people, they do have a better understanding of living the here and the now. I feel like in Europe, sometimes we forget that. It's not that we don't know how to. I think sometimes we just get kind of wrapped up into our very fast-paced life and competitive life. And I'm not saying there's no competition here, but I think that with Mexicans, for example, one of the things that I love is I have my adopted family, my best friend's family, who adopted me here. I met her here. Every now and again, they're like, oh, it's Sunday gathering, are you coming? And it's amazing because they're loud and they're messy and they've adopted me so much that now I'm part of the fights as well.
What do you think is happening here that the bar industry is so focused on it?
Right now, Mexico is amazing. There are so many bars and restaurants that are opening, and it's incredible. The variety of offerings, the styles, we were talking about what makes a bar amazing now, and it's incredible how, for example, in Mexico, you will have a bar that uses completely the Japanese style of bartending, which is so far away to us, but we live it. Mexico is booming.
It seems like we knew Mexico was there, but now it just seems to be 0 to 100 to 200. And when you're going that fast, obviously mistakes are going to happen, no?
Yeah, mistakes are going to happen. We're also in a country where there is a lot of violence. I don't know if we are ready to be at the level that we are without having that correct structure that you need. So unfortunately, it is true that on the surface, what we hear is amazing bars, amazing flavors, amazing experiences, blah, blah, blah. But also on the sidelines, we hear about, a lot of alcohol problems, about people leaving us, unfortunately. Here, I have lived quite a few passings as well. And as well, abuse and assaults. And it's sad, and accidents happen. So what I would like to see is for our industry here to grow on that side as well.
One of the things I find fascinating, not fascinating, but I'm very impressed by is that the female entrepreneurship of Mexico, it just seems like women here are doing so much more. At least they're more active or they're more present. I don't know, there's more light in them. Like every time I hear about a cool brand or a cool thing happening, it's a Mexican woman at the forefront. And that's, I think it's beautiful. It feels like it's almost like pioneering compared to some parts of the world where it's still very much male dominated. What do you think about that?
It's something that I love and I'm so proud of, and I think I can consider myself part of it, even though I'm not Mexican blood. I've been here for a long time and living this boom alongside with all of the Mexican women and non-Mexican ones, but you know, we are quite a few of us as well who have arrived, like Megs Miller, like Caroline. We love this country. There are so many of us who have come here because we honestly have this deep passion for Mexican culture and products. I see all of these women, bartenders, young talents as well. Women here in Mexico, and I think quite a lot in Latin America and islands, the Caribbean islands, are extremely strong. They have thick skin. They have thick skin, and I think that in a way, a part of the culture is learning how to fend for yourself, you know, being an independent woman and being able to hold for yourself and not having to ever rely on a man. There is this culture of like, you know, I'm here and I need to do me to be me. And it's amazing because it's true. Like there's so many brands, bars and businesses, not just drink related, that are with incredible women. And you know, when I talk about my group of best friends here, and I look at every single one of them, none of them work in the same thing as me. I mean, one works in publicity, one works in technology, one works in banks. We come from completely different worlds. But the one thing that we do have in common is that we love to drink and dance. And we have come so far in our 30s now, and we all have a solid career, and we can go into any room and we know who we are. We know where we stand.
You don't need validation from anyone else.
We do not need validation.
We
just need a good bottle of something, some good music, and we're like... I had to bring the booty in at some point.
Unfortunately, we have to twerk at some point.
Yes, we will.
Later today. At one point you said authenticity without warmth is just performance.
Authenticity without?
Authenticity without warmth is just performance.
Yes.
How do you find your warmth?
As you know, I'm pretty emotional a lot of the time. I am very emotional a lot of the time. And I think that that's what makes it true, you know, and I've accepted the fact that I cry a lot. I do cry, I laugh, I get nervous all the time. I have stage fright. Yesterday I was trying to film and I had to stop for 30 minutes because I was crying of laughter from giggles and from nervous laughter. But that's what makes it true. That's what makes it living the moment. So live the moment, you know, and don't try to be someone you're not. I'm not like a huge personality, but I know I have my twerks. I have my perks.
She knows you have her twerks.
I have my perks.
I have my twerks.
I have my perks and my twerks. When I walk into a room, I still suffer from social anxiety. So when I walk into a room, I need to just gauge the room, and I need to edge in. I like to taste the waters wherever I go, still to date. And then once I'm comfortable, you know, it's absolutely fine. So, and I know that I'm like that. I'm not able to walk in a room and be like, no. And I admire people who do that. I see them and I'm like, oh, I'm in awe of them. And I think it's a beauty of the 30s. Finally really accepting who you are. Stop trying to fight it in many ways and making it you. And knowing that being you is perfect because you are unique and perfect in your own way. You are who you are. I can't be the slightest way closest to all. I can't be like you. I admire you so much. And I'm sure that you respect and admire me in my own way.
If you could give some advice to up-and-coming bartenders, especially women, whether they're brand ambassadors or anything, what the advice that you've learned the good or hard way that you could share?
So this is not for women only?
I would say women specifically. I think that as much as I know that bartender is a non-gender specific word, but I think that this is my hot take. I think the women in our industry that are the most inspiring are the ones that it doesn't matter if they're a woman Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The women that in our industry that are just respected uniformly are there because of whatever skills, knowledge, and things that they've done, and their gender is not important
Yeah.
when they walk into the room.
First of all, is as a woman from day one, and whenever I'm working with young women, it's something that I do feel that women struggle with is there is always that point where if I raise my voice slightly louder than you, then I'll be labeled as, oh, that crazy woman who shouted in that meeting because she had to say something. But if you did it, you'd be fine because you were saying something firmly. Whereas if I do it, I'd be like, no, but I was saying, you know. So it's like, sometimes, not every time, but sometimes it's okay to be labeled as that controversial person. If you truly believe that it is the right thing to do it. And I still do it. Because I think that a lot of people, because the biggest problem is lack of communication in life. We need to be constantly thinking, oh, if I say this, would it be, oh no, if I, okay, so maybe I should just sit and wait and see. Don't ever sit and wait and see. If you honestly know that what you are working on or what your goal is, and if someone is going to criticize you along the way, but you know that it's the right way, do it. No one's perfect. I'm far away from being it. But finding your yin and your yang, which is my little yogi side speaking right now, being able to find your own balance. Trying to find that balance, which is very, very difficult to find in our industry.
What is the best thing about the bar industry?
It's given me my life. It's given me a lot of my personality. It's given me friends. It's given me family. It's given me travel. It can give you anything you want. I think that the hospitality industry is one of the industries that has the most opportunities in the world if you know how to grasp it.
And what is the worst thing about the bar industry?
The limits.
Or lack of?
Yeah, lack of limits. Knowing when too much is too much in any way. Workload, drink load, food load, travel load. Also, having that boss that's yelling at you all the time and not knowing how to tell them, don't shout at me. The limits.
This has been Audrey Hands, and that is her real name. And this has been Twerkology.
Are you ready?
Oh God, no. I can't do this. I can't do it. I can't. My ass doesn't move that way. My ass is also so numb. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Cool. That's it.
Thank you.
Boom. And we've got it. And we're set.